If you are watching this video, then that means you are responsible for the introduction paragraph for your curation project essay. So, what I want you to do is make sure that you have this document opened and to follow along with annotations as I show you a good example of an introduction paragraph for the specific essay. Now, your entire job with this is going to hook the reader. You need to make this interesting. At Mrs. Nesbitt, am going to be reading tons of these introductions, probably about the same thing. So, what can you do to spark my interest and to stand out from the rest of your classmates? Your job, that's your job. Get me pulled in so that automatically I start off reading this on a good note, and therefore I'm probably more likely to enjoy the rest of your paper and be pulled into it. So I'm going to read and I'm going to go through why this introduction paragraph works. In Eureka, California, it is illegal for a man with a mustache to kiss a woman. In Alabama, it's illegal to drive blindfolded. In Arkansas, it is illegal to honk your horn near a sandwich shop after 9. So, this is a great hook because it's a little ridiculous and very random. So, this is a great hook because it really does capture my interest. As I'm reading this, I'm asking, wait, what? Who decided that you can't kiss a woman if you have a mustache? Or why did it need to even be a law that you can't drive in Alabama blindfolded? I mean, that probably means that a lot of people were getting pulled over because they were driving blindfolded, but who in their right mind would do that? And then you go to the Arkansas example, and why would it be illegal to honk your horn near a sandwich shop after 9? Like, what happened to create that law? So it's a great hook because it's weird, it's different, it's factual, but I didn't even know about any of these things. And so automatically I'm invested because my next question is be like, "Wait, why were these laws created?" And the author of this, the student that wrote this, automatically assumes that that's going to be my question, which is great. Where do these laws come from and why? This question gets the reader involved in the writing and also um, makes them invested in the answer to that. So again, these first 4 sentences are centering around pulling the reader in. And they don't just ask this question of where do these laws come from and why, but then they also give the answer. The answer to this question is rooted in the 10th Amendment of the Bill of Rights. Okay, so we're kind of narrowing in on potentially what the rest of this essay is. They do a great hook and they're trying to get into this transition. And they say this is the 10th Amendment of the Bill of Rights. So they state the amendment, this issue or essay also focuses on. Remember, as I'm doing this, be taking notes in your own document. And then they tell me what the 10th Amendment says. When the government remains neutral, the states can decide to take a stand on certain issues. Okay, so if the government isn't going to make a law about a mustached man kissing a woman or, people driving blindfolded, then I guess it's the state's right to make that law. And then they continue explaining. This is the ability to ban or support abortion or same sex marriage, to legalize drugs, to require all restrooms to be transgender ones, or, in this instance of Eureka, California, make it illegal for a man with a mustache to kiss a woman. So this is fantastic because they've told me what the 10th Amendment deals with, but then they've also told me some of the issues that it comes up today. Okay, so if the national government is not going to decide about abortion or transgender bathrooms or drugs or same-sex marriage, then the states have those rights. That's cool. And they give me examples. The 10th Amendment isn't just this small amendment, it deals with all of these things that they list here. And then, well, I'll put that there. So they tell me how the 10th Amendment applies to today, what issues it presents. So I still don't know in this essay exactly what issue they're going to be talking about, but I do know that they're going to be talking about an issue in the 10th Amendment. And then what's really awesome is that they finish off this sentence by connecting it back to the hook. So I know that the hook wasn't just this random thing. The reason why they've made it illegal for a man with a mustache to kiss a woman is because they had that right in the 10th Amendment. This is really strong writing. And then they continue. At the most basic level, Amendment 10 transfers the power to the people because it is at a state level, and most of the time, the people living in that state get to vote for those bills rather than representatives voting for them in Congress. So this sentence is a bit of a mouthful. I would have suggested that this student had edited a little bit more, get rid of all the unnecessary words. But again, it's explaining the significance. When the nation can't decide, the state can, and therefore the state or the people in the state gets to vote. So again, the legalization of marijuana in California was something that was put to the people to vote for, and they voted yes, that it should be legalized. Again, that's not something that applies to the nation, but it applies to that specific state. So we're still dealing with this whole idea of Amendment 10. They give me a nice short sentence after a long one, so they vary their syntax because, again, you guys have been paying attention to syntax and writing, but now that you know what syntax is, you guys can then apply that to your own writing. So you can vary the sentence structure and the sentence length. So Amendment 10 is more of a grassroots movement. And then we get to the point. One of the biggest examples on Amendment 10 in action today would be the topic of abortion. So the student presents their issue. This abortion is what they'll be talking about for the rest of the paper. The court case Roe v. Wade in 1973 made abortion legal in every state. Yet how long a woman can go before getting an abortion changes with each state line. Okay, so this is how it deals with the 10th Amendment, that abortion changes with each state line. It is legal, but when you can get it is up to debate. This is due to the practice of Amendment 10. It is the state's decision. So right here, this is the thesis statement. Thesis statement for entire paper. It's saying essentially the rest of this paper is going to be talking about abortion and Amendment 10. So now that you've looked at a really great example, try to mimic this. Use these things as sentence frames and examples. So you're going to go down here and you're going to do the outline. There are four boxes that you need to fill out. So look at the instructions in the gray box and then type out the hook. What sentences would you do? So if this person had been writing it, all of this would have been typed in here. So you see that in Eureka, California. So that's what you're going to do. You're going to now apply it to your own amendment. You're going to type in the hook. Then you're going to go to background information. So what does the amendment say? Why is this amendment created? When? And think back to the Declaration of Independence. What was this amendment in response to? So in complete sentences and in a way that is formal, respond there. Then you're going to use a transition. How does this amendment connect to contemporary times? Make me see that it's relevant. And then finally, the thesis statement, right? So you're going to type your own version of this down there. What's the main idea of the essay? Communicate it in one sentence. You're presenting two sides of a certain issue under a specific amendment. So once you've gone through this and you've done your sentences here, then copy and paste all of the things that you've put in pink and put it below, format it like a paragraph, and then read it out loud for clarity. This should give you a really nice version of an introduction paragraph. Now, just because you've answered all the questions and just because you've copied and pasted it does not mean that it's done. Read it out loud. Make sure that it all flows together smoothly, and then you'll be done.